Right, welcome to the second episode of Scoop on the Gloop, where myself and my delightful assistant Samantha talk about uh, personal care products and cosmetic products and say what we think about them as cosmetic professionals. And what have you got for me today, Samantha?
Yep. So as the second product, I sent you a link to the L'Oreal tinted serum with the 1% hyaluronic acid. It's been circling TikTok and social media, I think, for the last year. So I had seen it a lot, but it just came up again the other day after we'd started our scoop on the Gloop. So it was fresh in my mind, and I thought, right, it's had its run of popularity among TikTok and the whole, TikTok made me buy it kind of thing. So I thought it'd be a fitting thing to show you, and you can talk us through the ingredient list.
Okay, so TikTok made me review it. Right, I've printed out the ingredient list because we don't just throw these shows together. And my first thought is that this is a very traditional product. Basically, it's got some very, very scientific sounding names in it, like a HDI isopropyl sebacate and magnesium sulfate, and that kind of thing, all which sounds sort of like the kind of thing that Dr. Spock says on Star Trek. But ultimately, it's quite a simple concept. This is effectively a tinted moisturizer, and it's based on dispersing pigments into a base and suspending them using clay. This is a very old technology. This is something that people making cosmetics in ancient Egypt would have been familiar with. They would have used clay from the garden and some pigments from a nearby mountain, and they'd have ground them up in a mortar and pestle. But in essence, what L'Oreal are doing is not really very different. And in actual fact, if you look at the ingredients, they've got a material with the rather imposing name of disteared ammonium hectorite, which is basically just a modified clay. And the skill with these kind of products is the way you disperse the pigments. And somewhere somebody, I think, has put a lot of work into this. There's a lot of very clever technology and a lot of impressive physical science to get it just right. You want to get the pigments just the right size so that they give you just the right coverage and give you just the right effect on the skin. And that's really probably the key as to why people are being excited about it on TikTok. Because if you can get that dispersion just right, you'll get just the kind of effect on the skin you're looking for, and people will find it delightful. However, it's not great for marketing people. Buy our product; it's been ground well. Doesn't really work in the for the well, it never works in marketing terms. I say it doesn't work in the days of glamorous TikTok videos where people are trying to look like film stars. But that's the essence of the product. It's ground up rock dispersed in a sort of clay matrix. That there are some polymers in there as well. These are things that are stabilizing agents, and again, getting the ratio of those just right to get just the effect you want for is quite a skill. And I think if it's popular, that proves that whoever put the formulation together had done a good job. And I suspect years of knowledge and experience have gone into producing this product. Not directly, but you can't just turn up in a lab and knock it up in a few days and hope for it to be successful. It relies on a lot of work and knowledge and experience. So that was my thought on the product.
Yeah. So in this case, they've put the new spin on a quite, they've made it new and refreshed with the hyaluronic acid, it seems.
Yes. I mean, hyaluronic acid is a very good moisturizer. It's a moisturizing agent that's already present in the skin. and it's what we call a humectant. It grabs a hold of moisture and holds it in, and that's a good thing to do. It has that added benefit of adding that humectancy to the product. There is, of course, another humectant in there as well, which is, as you'll say, it is. I'll see it now. Yeah, glycerin. Glycerin is really boring. You will see it in almost every cosmetic product, and it's a very good humectant, and I would think probably it's doing as much, if not more work than the hyaluronic acid to make this a moisturizing product. But even if it wasn't targeted as a moisturizer, you want to put it in there anyway, because the thing about a product like this, which is basically a pigment dispersing clay, it's going to dry out. So if you want it to have a decent shelf life, you need to put in some humectant to stop it drying out quickly. Otherwise, you buy it, and then a week later, it'll be all caked and solid in your pot. If you buy a lot of beauty products, you've probably bought the odd one that does that, and those are the ones that have been formulated by people who don't know what they're doing, and they don't know why the glycerin's in there, so they just put a pinch in. When actually you need the right amount to hold the water into the product. So, yeah, again, nothing revolutionary, nothing out of the ordinary. Anybody can do that, and it's been around for a long time. But if L'Oreal want to say it contains hyaluronic acid, or as they pronounce it, hyaluronic acid, if I'm rightly from the advert, then that's an angle. It's not really.
That's so interesting what you said about the glycerin perhaps doing more of the work, because it just goes to show what marketing can do. Because you would never think that, given that they've made all this fuss about the 1% hyaluronic acid. You know, it's obviously the focus of the products, and yet, you know, in reality, it might be more of a silent workhorse in the ingredient list that might be giving the effect or the function.
Well, exactly. I mean, the whole point of marketing is to give your product a unique selling point. And glycerin is almost the opposite of a unique selling point. It's everybody else in the world has got it selling point, which doesn't really lend itself to.
Yeah. Well, in this case, it really is marketing, really, then, that probably is what's attracting people to this product. Not just the 1% hyaluronic acid, but by extension, if it is TikTok that made people buy it, that is a type of marketing, the social media platform. So, two levels of marketing influence going on this product.
It must be a good product, though, because otherwise people would go out and buy it because of the marketing, and then they wouldn't be happy with it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think because it come up on TikTok so much, I think the saying TikTok made me buy it. But then when people do, when it arrives, or you know, they get back from the shop with it and they use it, they're always happy with it. You know, the eyes can tell you more than an inky list. I see it and think, God, I now want to go and buy it, because it just looks lovely on the skin. You know, I once had it in my hand in Boots, and I think, you know, I still might go and have it. So yeah, people obviously, you know, do like it and are liking what they're seeing. And but as you say, not a new product, but if people are liking it, that's not a problem, is it?
No, and I say the marketing spin, I think, is a million miles from the true story of it, which is it's very well ground. It's you can read all the ingredient lists you like in the world, but what you really need to look at is the setting on the dial of the machine that grinds in the pigments when they're making it.
Yeah, it's interesting you know said that about you know, the shades and the pigments, because obviously when I sent it to you, I was so focused on the hyaluronic acid part and how much we might, you know, talk about that, and it sort of made me think that perhaps our next episode of Scoop on the Gloop should be focused on hydration. And you know, hyaluronic acid gets all the attention for hydration. Just in this video, you said glycerin might do more for that. So I think it'd be interesting to maybe, for our next episode, focus on hydration. What are the other things besides hyaluronic acid that, you know, because people are using some other things. I mean, there's the CosRx propolis, the snail mucin, people are using that for hydration. Polyglutamic acid from the Inky List. So it'd be interesting to make a video about hydration. Are there other things besides just hyaluronic acid that we can use?
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's worth looking at hyaluronic acid as well, because it's touted as a very simple proposition by marketing, but there's actually a bit more to it than that. So yeah, let's do moisturization next.
Yeah, okay. So when this is uploaded, and there'll be the comment section. If anyone's got a particular, a product they use, for hydration, and maybe you think the ingredient, maybe you've identified the ingredient that you're sure is responsible for that hydration, or maybe you don't. Maybe you just know the product name. Leave a comment, and we'll see if we can include it in the next video.